You know that moment when something finally clicks, like your gut was warning you all along, but now the truth is staring you in the face? That's what this feels like. For years, we've watched sister wives unfold, trying to make sense of the shifting alliances, the cold silences, the fake smiles. But now, Christine and Janelle are speaking out, and what they're revealing about Kody and Robyn's relationship is shaking the foundation of everything we thought we knew. Hey everyone, welcome back to TLC Sister Wives Recap. I'm Sarah, and if you've been following this show as closely as I have, you already know something never added up about Kody and Robyn. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button and leave a comment below, especially if you've ever felt like there was a secret being scrubbed from the story. Because what we're about to unpack, it's not just drama, it's betrayal dressed up as righteousness. This isn't about jealousy, it's not even just about favoritism. What Christine and Janelle are now openly acknowledging is that Kody and Robyn's courtship wasn't just different. It wasn't just a little longer than usual. It violated the very religious rules they all claim to live by. And in their world, that doesn't just make it questionable, it makes it adulterous. The cracks in this family didn't start with a fight. They started with a lie. A lie about when the relationship between Kody and Robyn really began. A lie about what happened behind closed doors, and a lie about what was sacred and what was selfish. Because in their faith, in the strict rules of the Apostolic United Brethren, courtship has rules. And Kody and Robyn didn't just bend them, they broke them. And now, the women who lived by those rules, Christine and Janelle, are calling it out. To really understand the weight of what Christine and Janelle are exposing, we have to look at the beliefs they were all living under, like the actual rules of the Apostolic United Brethren, or the AUB. This isn't just a conservative lifestyle. It's a religious system with strict boundaries, especially when it comes to how marriages begin. And in this system, courtship isn't romantic, it's regulated. In the AUB, the path to marriage is designed to be quick, formal, and entirely centered around the priesthood. The idea is that once a man, who already holds priesthood authority, feels spiritually called to a woman, she's essentially given to him through that authority. There's no dating as we know it. There's certainly no extended period of emotional bonding or physical affection. Most women in these communities are expected to become wives quickly, sometimes within weeks, so there's little time for emotional attachment before they're sealed. And the reason behind that speed? It's by design. The church teaches that intimacy of any kind, even kissing, is only allowed after a couple has been sealed in what's called the new and everlasting covenant. That sealing is what officially makes the union eternal in the eyes of God. Without it, they are not husband and wife. So, under these rules, any kind of physical affection before sealing, yes, even kissing, is considered a violation. In their world, that means it's adultery. The term they use is chaste courtship. And it's not just a suggestion, it's a rule. A chaste courtship means absolutely no romantic or sexual expression before the sealing takes place. No hand holding, no sneaking away for alone time, and certainly no kissing, even if it's just a peck. These expressions are reserved for sealed couples only, and anything else is viewed as stepping into sacred territory that hasn't been earned. So when Kody and Robyn took nearly a year to court, spending time together, exchanging affection, and building an emotional connection long before their sealing, they weren't just stepping outside the norm. They were violating one of the most sacred tenets of their faith, and that's where the betrayal starts. Because while they were enjoying this prolonged romance, Christine and Janelle were playing by the rules they believed were eternal. From the beginning, Kody and Robyn have worked hard to paint their relationship in a certain light. They've repeated over and over that their courtship was chaste, that they followed all the spiritual guidelines, that nothing improper happened before their sealing. But as the seasons of Sister Wives unfolded, and especially as Christine and Janelle began speaking more candidly, those claims started to unravel. The first cracks appeared in the way Christine described their dynamic. There was this subtle, heartbreaking tone in her voice every time Robyn came up. You could feel it. She'd talk about how things started to shift the moment Robyn entered the family. Kody's time, his attention, his energy. It all began leaning toward Robyn. At first, Christine tried to believe it was just a phase, but the signs were everywhere. But the signs were everywhere. Kody wasn't emotionally present. The schedule didn't feel fair. The atmosphere in the home changed. And then Janelle started voicing what so many of us had already picked up on, that something about Kody and Robyn's courtship didn't match the others. Janelle even said outright, if she had been given a full year to court Kody, she might not have gone through with it. That wasn't a joke. That was a quiet admission that the man Robyn fell in love with may not have been the man the rest of them married. And it also implies something deeper, that the length and intimacy of Kody and Robyn's relationship gave them a foundation that the others were never allowed to build. It was Christine, though, who put the emotion into words. She talked about feeling uncomfortable with how often Kody was around Robyn during their courtship. And let's be real, uncomfortable was Christine being polite. You could see the hurt, the confusion, the growing resentment. It wasn't just that Kody was courting another woman. It was that the rules they all claimed to follow were suddenly flexible for one person. And that's the hidden truth. While the show told us one version, the chaste, respectful love story, what actually played out behind the scenes didn't match. The other wives felt it. The audience sensed it. And now, years later, Christine and Janelle are finally saying what they were too loyal to admit before. Kody and Robyn weren't honest. Not with them, not with the family, and not with us. To understand why Christine and Janelle's words hit so hard now, you have to look at the doctrine they were all living under, and how it's designed to give men control while leaving women trapped in obedience. And Doctrine and Covenants 132 isn't just a religious text, it's a blueprint for how this family was supposed to function. And the way it's written, it tilts all the power toward the man. The core idea is this: a man can take multiple wives as long as it's done through priesthood authority. If the first wife gives consent, great. But even if she doesn't, he can still move forward. That's not equality. That's hierarchy. And it's deeply gendered. A man who takes multiple women is said to be building his eternal kingdom. But a woman who's with more than one man, she's labeled adulterous. The language even goes as far as saying she will be destroyed. Spiritually, emotionally, eternally. That's the weight they've been carrying. For Christine, that meant feeling like she couldn't walk away for years, even when she was emotionally crumbling. For Janelle, it meant staying in a marriage that stopped feeling equal long ago. And for Mary, it meant holding on to a legal marriage in name only while Kody publicly distanced himself. The women were told to sacrifice, to endure, to wait. But Kody, he was always allowed to move forward with Cis, with Robyn, with his emotions, with his choices, without the same spiritual consequences. Robyn's entrance didn't just disrupt the emotional balance, it destabilized the spiritual structure they were all trying to maintain. Because when Kody gave Robyn more affection, more time, and more space than any of the others ever got before they were sealed, he wasn't just breaking the rules. He was setting a new standard, one where he decided which rules mattered and when. And that made the rest of the family feel disposable. Christine even said, "You can't kiss another woman before marriage." But they all knew. Something had happened. Something unspoken. And it wasn't just betrayal of trust. It was a betrayal of everything their faith taught them to believe was sacred. In their world, sealing wasn't just a ritual, it was a promise. And by bending those promises for Robyn, Kody redefined what commitment meant. For himself, not for the women. One of the most overlooked forms of betrayal in this entire story isn't loud or obvious. It's not a screaming match or a final breakup. It's in the quiet rearranging of calendars. The silent decisions Kody made, over and over, to spend more time with Robyn, even when he wasn't supposed to. And in the world of plural marriage, that isn't just emotional favoritism. It's a violation of sacred promises. From early on, Sister Wives showed us that plural marriage relies on structure. There's an actual rotation. Each wife gets designated days, and Kody is supposed to be fully present with that wife during her time. That was the agreement. That was the spiritual balance. And even if the emotional connection wasn't equal, because let's be honest, it rarely was, the time was supposed to be shared fairly. But with Robyn, everything shifted. We started seeing less and less of Kody at Christine's. He stopped showing up for Janelle's family events. Even Mary, who tried so hard to keep things together, was left watching him from the outside. And all the while, Robyn's house became the home base, the central location, the place he never seemed to leave. Christine said it best, without even needing to say the word adultery. She talked about how Kody would spend entire days at Robyn's house, even when it was supposed to be her time. And in their belief system, that matters. Because if Kody was sealed to each of these women, and each sealing is a spiritual contract, then breaking those agreements isn't just inconsiderate, it's a betrayal of the priesthood covenant. Janelle noticed it too. Her tone shifted in later seasons. She started calling out how Kody's actions didn't align with the faith he preached. She wasn't just losing a husband. She was watching him dismantle the very structure they had built their lives around. Robyn didn't just become his favorite wife, she became the only wife whose needs seemed to matter. And here's what cuts deepest. The rules of plural marriage were used for years to keep these women loyal, obedient, and emotionally patient. But when Kody broke those same rules, there were no consequences for him, only for them. It wasn't just a marriage falling apart. It was a family system and a shared faith being rewritten behind closed doors. In the end, what Christine and Janelle did wasn't just brave, it was transformational. For years, they stayed quiet. They played the roles expected of them. They followed the rotation, kept the faith, held on to the hope that Kody would show up as the man they married. But when the mask started to slip, when it became clear that this wasn't a family anymore but a hierarchy with one woman at the top, they stopped waiting. And they started speaking. Christine was the first to break away, and when she did, it was like the dam burst. You could see it in her face, this mixture of pain, relief, and finally, clarity. She talked about how long she ignored her own feelings, how many times she justified things that didn't feel right, and all in the name of spiritual duty. But what she finally realized was that faith without honesty is just control. And love without equality? That's not a marriage, that's survival. Then came Janelle. Quiet, thoughtful, steady Janelle. The one who always seemed to stay above the drama. When she finally started sharing her truth, it was heartbreaking. Because even though she was ready to move on, you could tell she was still wrestling with the weight of their beliefs. She admitted that in her heart, she still feels sealed to Kody, that somewhere deep down the doctrine still holds her. And that's the legacy of this kind of system. It doesn't just shape your choices, it seeps into your identity, into what you think you're allowed to hope for. And Mary? She held on longer than anyone. But she too saw that love shouldn't mean being left out, discarded, or constantly pushed to the edge of your own life. Each of these women has shown, in their own way, what it looks like to wake up inside a belief system that no longer serves you. So now we have to ask ourselves, and I want you watching to think about this. Was this really a marriage built on faith and love? Or was it built on one man's ability to twist doctrine to suit his needs? Did Kody follow the teachings he claimed to believe? Or did he find the loopholes that gave him the most advantage, emotionally, spiritually, and publicly? Let me know what you think in the comments. Do you believe Robyn and Kody's relationship was ever truly fair to the other wives? Or was this betrayal written into the story from the start? Don't forget to subscribe for more breakdowns like this. I'm Sarah, and this is TLC Sister Wives Recap. Thanks for watching, and for caring about the truth behind the curtain.